My wife insisted she was just catching up with friends. I found out her new friend was actually someone she met at a bar. When I asked her about it, she said, "You're just being controlling." It wasn't control when I walked away and never looked back. I never thought I'd be on here posting something like this. I've read stories before and thought, man, that's tough. But I always believed that kind of stuff didn't happen to people like me. I was wrong. I'm a 52-year-old guy, born and raised in Omaha, Nebraska. I've been married to Rachel, not her real name, for 27 years. We have 2 grown kids, both living on their own now. Our life was normal. I work full-time at a local auto repair shop. Rachel works part-time at a boutique downtown. We had our share of ups and downs, like any couple. Money was tight sometimes. We argued, sure. But I always believed we had something solid. About a year ago, something started changing. She started going out more. It began with a girls' night, once every couple weeks. Then it turned into once a week. Then twice. Before I knew it, every Friday and Saturday she had plans. She said it was with her old college friends or coworkers. I didn't want to be that jealous, controlling husband. I told myself, let her have fun. I figured maybe I was just being insecure. But things didn't sit right. She started dressing different. Clothes I hadn't seen in years. Tight jeans, low-cut tops, a lot of makeup. She started wearing perfume again. Expensive stuff. She'd come home smelling like alcohol and cheap cologne. Her texts were suddenly locked. Her phone was always face down. I asked her about it once, casually, and she laughed it off. Said I was being paranoid. Don't start acting controlling, she said. I'm just catching up with friends. You know I've always been social. I let it go. I didn't want to fight. I'd rather live in peace than constantly question her. But the feeling kept growing. I knew something was off. One Saturday evening, she was getting ready to go out again. Full makeup, curled hair, heels. She told me she was going to some new bar with her friends from work. I watched her walk out the door, got this pit in my stomach. About an hour later, I got in my truck and drove to the bar she mentioned. I wasn't even sure what I was doing. I told myself I was just going to make sure she was okay. I parked across the street. Waited. I saw her after about 45 minutes. She was outside with some guy. Tall, beard, maybe mid-30s. Way younger than us. They were laughing. She had her hand on his arm. Then I saw him put his hand on her back, and they got in his car together. I followed them. They drove across town to a motel near the highway. Real rundown place. The kind of place you don't rent by the night, you rent by the hour. They got out. She was holding his hand. They went inside. I sat in my truck for a long time. I couldn't even feel my hands. I was shaking, but I wasn't angry. Not yet. I felt empty. I felt like the last 27 years had just disappeared. When she came home the next morning, she acted normal. Said she stayed over at her friend Alyssa's house. Didn't even flinch. I waited a day. Then I told her what I saw. She didn't deny it. She just stood there, eyes wide, and then immediately flipped the script. You followed me? That's crazy. That's controlling. Who does that? I told her again what I saw. The motel. The guy. Her holding hands with him. She started crying. Said she didn't mean for it to happen. Said she felt lonely. That I didn't give her attention. That life got boring. That she was just trying to feel alive again. I asked her how long it had been going on. She said 3 months. I asked who he was. She said just someone she met at the bar. Didn't even know his last name. Just a guy she met while out drinking one night. And that was enough for her to throw 27 years in the trash. She tried to make it seem like it was a one-time thing. Then admitted they'd been meeting regularly. Mostly on weekends. Always when she said she was with friends. She never apologized. She said I was suffocating her. That I didn't let her be free. That she needed space. I gave her space. I packed a bag. Got in my truck. Drove to my buddy Mike's place and told him everything. She called me later that night. Said I was overreacting. Said I needed to calm down before we talked more. Like I was the one who did something wrong. That's where I'm at now. Haven't gone back. She keeps texting, saying we should talk things through. That we can work on this. But I can't stop thinking about her walking into that motel. Smiling. Holding some stranger's hand. Like we never meant anything. I haven't told our kids yet. I don't even know how to bring it up. I don't know what comes next. But I know I can't go back to how things were. I don't even think she regrets it. She just regrets getting caught. So, I didn't go back home. I stayed with Mike for a few days. He's been a friend of mine since high school. Solid guy. Quiet, Doesn't ask too many questions. Just hands me a beer, gives me space. During that time, Rachel kept texting. Sometimes long messages about how she felt confused and needed to talk. Other times, short and cold. You're being dramatic. We need to deal with this like adults. Then, 3 days after I left, she sent a message that said, I didn't cheat. We were already drifting apart. That line hit me like a slap. I realized right then she was going to rewrite the whole story. She was going to tell our kids, our friends, maybe even herself, that I had pushed her away. That we were already broken when she met this guy. That somehow this whole thing wasn't cheating. It was just her finding happiness. No way was I letting her rewrite history. So, I did something I never thought I'd do. I hired a private investigator. I didn't even know how to go about it at first. Googled Omaha private investigator, made a few calls. Found this guy named Dale. Ex-cop. Quiet, professional, didn't promise anything fancy. I gave him the basics. Her name, where she worked, her schedule. I told him I didn't want revenge. I just wanted the truth. I needed to know if she was still seeing him. I needed something concrete in case this turned into a divorce fight. He followed her for 2 weeks. Turns out, she wasn't just still seeing him. She was full-on dating him. They were meeting up during her lunch breaks, having dinner together, even shopping. He got photos of them holding hands in Target. At one point, they were at some pumpkin patch in Council Bluffs, acting like high school sweethearts. And here's the kicker, this guy? His name is Brett. He's 34. Divorced. No kids. Lives in a small apartment above a vape shop. Dale said he overheard part of a conversation they had outside a coffee shop. Brett asked her, "So when are you moving in?" She laughed and said, "Soon. Once things are settled." Settled? I hadn't even filed for divorce yet. I didn't confront her right away. Instead, I did something petty, I admit it. I printed out the photos Dale gave me, stuck them in an envelope, and left it in the mailbox at our house. No note. No explanation. The next day, she blew up my phone. Calls, texts, voicemails. Angry at first. How could you invade my privacy? That's illegal. Then it shifted. We can still fix this. Don't let a mistake ruin everything. Mistake? It wasn't one night. This was a relationship. A whole second life. I finally answered one call. Didn't say much. Just let her talk. She begged me to come home. Said the guy meant nothing. That it was just a phase. That she got caught up in the attention. That she was lonely. I asked her if she was planning to move in with him. She went silent for 5 seconds, then said, "I was thinking about it, but only because I thought you were done with me." That was all I needed to hear. Our daughter, Mallory, is 25. Lives about 40 minutes away in Lincoln. She called me last week, out of the blue, and asked if I was okay. I hadn't told the kids anything, but apparently Rachel had been acting weird during one of their phone calls, talking about starting fresh and new chapters. Mallory picked up on it. She came to see me. I told her everything. She cried. Said she always thought we had the kind of marriage people looked up to. Said she didn't understand how Mom could throw it all away like that. I told her I didn't understand it either. What made it worse? Rachel had already told her a different version. That I walked out without explanation. That I gave up. Mallory told me, "I knew that didn't sound like you." She's furious with her mom now. Says she's not talking to her for a while. I didn't tell her to do that, but I'm not going to lie. It felt like someone was finally on my side. Just when I thought things couldn't get messy, I got a call from Rachel's sister, Angela. Angela and I have always gotten along. She told me Rachel's been saying I was abusive, not physically, but emotionally, that I manipulated her, controlled her, and isolated her from friends. I was floored. This is the same woman who I supported through 2 job losses, helped through her mom's cancer, and never once raised my voice in a way that would scare her. Now she's painting me as a monster? Angela said she didn't believe her. She just wanted to give me a heads up, said Rachel, spiraling, making up stories to justify what she did. So yeah, now I've got to deal with that too. She's not just cheating on me, she's burning everything down behind her to make it look like I deserved it. So after Angela told me Rachel was spreading lies, I started paying more attention. Not to her. To him. Brett. The guy she risked our whole life for. One afternoon, I drove by the vape shop where Brett lives above. I didn't plan to do anything, just sit in my truck and see for myself. I needed to know what kind of guy he really was. He came out around 2 p.m. Wore a hoodie and joggers, looked like he just rolled out of bed. Lit a cigarette, stood by the door scrolling on his phone. A few minutes later, some guy walked up and handed him a wad of cash. Brett reached into his hoodie and gave him a little Ziploc bag. That's when I knew. This wasn't just some random, nice guy Rachel met at a bar. This guy was a low-level dealer. I didn't want to jump to conclusions, so I called Dale again, the private investigator. Told him I needed more than pictures. I needed background. A week later, Dale hands me a file. Turns out Brett has been arrested 3 times. 2 DUIs. 1 misdemeanor for possession. He was on probation last year. Worked odd jobs but hadn't had steady employment in a while. Rachel didn't just cheat. She got involved with someone shady. Someone who couldn't hold a job, had a record, and sold drugs out of his apartment. I felt sick. She brought this man around our home. Slept with him. Lied to our daughter. Lied to me. One Sunday afternoon, I'm in Mike's garage helping him fix his old Harley. It's quiet. Peaceful. I hadn't heard from Rachel in a few days, which was a relief. Then Mike's wife pokes her head out and says, "Oh." Rachel's at the door. I step outside and there she is standing next to her car like she owns the place. She's crying. I don't say anything. She walks up and says, "Can we talk?" "Please." Mike gives me a look like you want me to tell her to leave, but I shake my head. I walk around the corner with her, away from the house. She starts talking fast. Says she made a mistake. That Brett was never serious. That she only stayed with him because she was afraid to be alone. That she realized now she ruined everything. Then she drops this. "I'm pregnant." I swear to God, I thought I misheard her. I asked her, "Is it mine?" She looked at the ground and said, "I don't know." That did it. I told her she needed to leave. That if she was really pregnant, she could deal with it on her own. I wanted a DNA test the minute that kid was born, if she wanted anything from me. She tried to hug me. I backed away. She left sobbing. This part still feels surreal. 2 days after that, I'm at the shop working on a customer's Ford Explorer. Middle of the day. Sun's out. I'm under the hood, minding my business. Then I hear someone yell, "Hey, old man." I look up. It's Brett. Standing at the edge of the parking lot, arms crossed, grinning like he thinks this is funny. I wipe my hands, walk out to him. He says, "Why don't you stop creeping around and let Rachel move on? She doesn't want you." I tell him to leave. He says, "Or what? You gonna call your little PI again?" I ask him again to leave, this time louder. My coworker Dave hears and starts walking over. Brett smirks and says, "You think she'll come back to you? She's having my baby, bro. Just face it, you're washed." That's when Dave steps between us. Brett backs off, flipping the bird, and walks away. I told Rachel that night, if that guy ever comes near my work again, I'm filing for a restraining order. She didn't even seem surprised. Just texted back, "I'll talk to him." I've started hearing things through the grapevine, people in town, folks at church, even neighbors. Rachel's been on a whole tour, telling anyone who will listen that I left her when she needed support, that she's a single woman doing her best. She's telling people the baby is mine. She's saying I walked out because I couldn't handle being a father again. She's twisting the truth into something else. Something that makes her look like the victim and me the monster. So now I'm not just dealing with a betrayal. I'm dealing with a campaign. One where my reputation, my family, my name is being pulled through the mud so she can play house with a guy who sells dime bags in the parking lot of a vape shop. She thought I'd roll over. She thought I'd take the blame and stay quiet. She was wrong. The moment everything snapped happened on a Sunday. It was a family barbecue. Our son, Ryan, had come back from Denver for the weekend, and he wanted to do something casual. Mallory was there too, and she still wasn't speaking to her mom. Rachel begged me to come. Said it was for the kids. Said she didn't want them caught in the middle. I agreed, mostly for Ryan. He didn't know everything yet, just bits and pieces from Mallory and what Rachel had told him. So there we were, at my brother's house. Everyone eating burgers, sitting in the backyard, pretending to be normal. Rachel showed up late, and she brought him, Brett, right into the middle of a family gathering, holding her hand, smirking like he belonged there. My brother's jaw dropped. Mallory's face turned red. Ryan stood up from his lawn chair and looked straight at me, quiet, confused. I stood too. Rachel walked over like it was nothing. "I wanted the kids to get to know him," she said. "He's going to be part of my life." Mallory lost it. "You brought him here?" she shouted. "Are you insane?" Rachel tried to stay calm. "He's the father of my child. You don't know that." Mallory screamed. "You're disgusting." Brett stepped forward, trying to puff up his chest. "Hey, don't talk to her like that." That's when Ryan stepped in. You better shut your mouth, he told Brett. You don't belong here. Rachel looked around at everyone and said, I thought you all loved me. I made a mistake, but I deserve to move on. Why are you acting like I murdered someone? That's when it hit me, she still didn't get it. She thought this was about her happiness, about her feeling young, or alive again. She never thought about the damage, the betrayal, the lies. So I spoke. Rachel, I said, loud enough for everyone to hear. You didn't just make a mistake. You destroyed a family. You dragged your kids into your mess. You cheated. You lied. And now you're dragging this guy into their lives like he earned a seat at the table. She started crying. I didn't mean to hurt anyone. I was lost. Then you should have talked to me, not crawl into bed with the first guy you met in a bar. Mallory walked out. Ryan followed. My brother told Brett to leave. Rachel stood there, holding her stomach, tears in her eyes. No one comforted her. Later that week, Rachel called me. Said she'd gone to the doctor, she wasn't pregnant. Said she was late from stress. Said she lied because she was scared I'd cut her off for good. I didn't even feel shock anymore. Just a kind of quiet numbness. Do you even know what's real anymore? I asked her. She cried on the phone. Told me she wanted to fix things. Said Brett was out of the picture now. I told her it was too late. I filed for divorce. She didn't fight it. Mallory hasn't spoken to her since the barbecue. Ryan tries to stay neutral, but I know he's struggling. The court process wasn't messy. Rachel agreed to let me keep the house. She moved in with her sister for a while. I see her sometimes at the grocery store or around town. She always looks like she wants to say something, but I keep walking. The funny thing is, I don't hate her. I thought I would. I thought I'd carry all this bitterness with me forever. But I don't. I just feel free. I spent 27 years building a life with someone who never truly saw me, who needed more, who chose attention from strangers over honesty with her husband. And now? Now I'm figuring out who I am without her. I've started going to church again. I fix up bikes in my garage on weekends. I talk to my kids more. I sleep better. I still hurt sometimes, sure. Some mornings I wake up and wonder how it all fell apart. Some nights I miss the feeling of someone beside me in bed. But I've learned that missing someone doesn't mean you should go back. If you're reading this and you're going through something similar, it's okay to leave. It's okay to feel pain, to feel betrayed, to feel lost. But don't let someone else's choices make you forget your own worth. Rachel said I was controlling. No, I wasn't controlling. I was loyal. And now I'm free.